The South China Sea is now the front line of a global power struggle. China's sweeping nine-dash-line claim has put it at odds with neighbors like Vietnam and the Philippines, who turn to international law and alliances for protection. The U.S., determined to uphold freedom of navigation, has ramped up its military presence, bringing American and Chinese forces into tense proximity. Now, the U.S. and the Philippines are building Naval Base Vanguard, a massive permanent installation, the largest U.S. military project in the region in decades. This base is a direct response to Beijing's growing assertiveness and a clear signal of America's commitment to its allies. The stakes are enormous. A third of global maritime trade passes through these contested waters, which are also rich in fish, oil, and gas. For the U.S., open sea lanes are a core security interest. For China, control means economic security and regional dominance. The rapid construction of Naval Base Vanguard has shocked the region, fundamentally shifting the military balance and deepening the divide between the two superpowers. The world watches as the US and China circle each other in this new great game. The US-Philippine military alliance is one of Asia's oldest, forged through war, colonization, and shared sacrifice. After World War II, the 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty formalized this partnership, committing both nations to each other's defense. During the Cold War, U.S. bases at Clark and Subic Bay projected power across Asia, but also fueled nationalist backlash. In 1991, the Philippine Senate ended the U.S. base era, but the alliance endured, evolving through agreements like the Visiting Forces Agreement and Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement. These deals allowed for joint training, disaster relief, and counterterrorism, keeping the partnership alive. Now, Naval Base Vanguard marks a dramatic return, a semi-permanent U.S. presence on Philippine soil, unprecedented since Subic Bay's closure. This move builds on the legal frameworks of the past, but represents a new scale of cooperation. For the U.S. and the Philippines, it's a powerful reaffirmation of a historic alliance, now focused on countering an assertive China. The base is not a beginning, but a deepening of a century-old partnership. It's a bold step into a new era of regional security. The alliance, tested by history, is now being repurposed for the challenges of the 21st century. In the last decade, China's approach in the South China Sea has shifted from assertive to aggressive. Massive island building has turned reefs into military outposts, giving China the ability to project power deep into Southeast Asia. These bases, despite promises to the contrary, are now equipped with airfields, hangars, and advanced sensors. China's Coast Guard and maritime militia routinely harass neighboring vessels, escalating the risk of miscalculation. Beijing rejects international arbitration, dismissing a 2016 tribunal ruling in favor of the Philippines and insisting on bilateral talks where it holds the upper hand. This mix of military expansion, economic pressure, and diplomatic stonewalling has pushed regional states like the Philippines closer to the U.S. for security guarantees. Naval Base Vanguard is rising on Palawan's western coast, just 200 nautical miles from China's fortified Mischief Reef. The base, launched under the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, is the largest U.S.-Philippine military project in decades. Covering 2,500 acres, it will feature a deep-water pier for aircraft carriers, a 10,000-foot runway, and vast fuel and munitions depots. Its location slashes response times. U.S. forces can reach the Spratlys in under an hour. Vanguard is designed as a multi-domain hub, supporting naval, air, and marine operations. The base will dramatically boost U.S. surveillance and joint patrols, enhancing readiness and interoperability with the Philippines. For Manila, it's a leap in military modernization and a powerful security backstop. Vanguard is more than a base. It's a strategic anchor, securing the U.S. presence on the Pacific's western edge. Its construction signals a new era of deterrence in the South China Sea. The message to Beijing is clear. Any aggression will meet a swift, coordinated response. Naval Base Vanguard is the centerpiece of America's integrated deterrence strategy in Southeast Asia. It's not just a military outpost. It's a calculated move to counter China's anti-access area denial strategy. By placing U.S. assets deep inside the contested zone, Vanguard forces Beijing to stretch its defenses and rethink its plans. The base creates a new southern axis, complicating China's military calculus and putting its southern flank at risk. Vanguard is also a key node in a network of smaller, dispersed U.S. and allied facilities across the Indo-Pacific, making American forces more resilient and unpredictable. If one base is threatened, others can pick up the slack, ensuring operational continuity. Beyond strategy, Vanguard is a symbol of U.S. commitment to the Philippines and ASEAN, reassuring allies and encouraging regional unity. The investment sends a clear message. The U.S. is here to stay and will defend the international order. For regional nations, it's a call to stand together in the face of pressure from Beijing. Vanguard is both a military asset and a diplomatic statement. The stakes for the region and the world have never been higher. For Washington, Naval Base Vanguard is a necessary response to a deteriorating security environment. U.S. officials frame the base as defensive, designed to uphold international law and deter aggression, not provoke it. They point to China's island building, militarization, and harassment of Filipino vessels as justification. The base is seen as a credible deterrent, peace through strength. Economically, its vital trillions in trade pass through these waters, and any disruption could cripple the global economy. Vanguard ensures these sea lanes remain open and secure, benefiting not just the U.S., but all trading nations. The project is also a triumph of alliance-based diplomacy, built at Manila's invitation and grounded in established agreements. This partnership counters accusations of American imperialism and builds a broad coalition of support. Vanguard is presented as the responsible action of a reliable ally, not an act of aggression. Beijing's response to Naval Base Vanguard has been swift and fierce. Chinese officials call it a provocation and accuse the U.S. of reviving a Cold War mentality. State media portray America as an outside meddler, using the Philippines as a pawn to contain China. Beijing frames the base as an offensive threat, warning it could be used to strike Chinese assets or even the mainland. China has threatened countermeasures, deploying more military hardware, increasing patrols, and possibly declaring an air defense identification zone. Economically, Beijing warns Manila of potential trade consequences. Diplomatically, China urges ASEAN to resist US-led blocs, promoting Asian solutions for Asian problems. The core message: the base destabilizes the region and forces countries to choose sides. The return of a major U.S. base has sparked fierce debate in the Philippines. The government sees Vanguard as essential to counter China's aggression and uphold sovereignty. But opposition groups argue it's a betrayal, risking a return to quasi-colonial status and making the Philippines a target in a superpower conflict. Protests echo the anti-base movement of the 1990s, fueled by nationalist and anti-imperialist sentiment. In Palawan, locals are divided. Many welcome the economic boost, jobs, infrastructure, and investment, while others worry about environmental damage and social problems. Environmentalists warn of risks to Palawan's fragile ecosystems, a UNESCO biosphere reserve. Communities recall past issues around U.S. bases, crime, social friction, and exploitation. The base promises prosperity but also brings difficult trade-offs. The debate reflects the nation's struggle to balance security, sovereignty, and development. The future of the U.S.-Philippine alliance will be shaped by how these tensions are resolved. Naval Base Vanguard marks a turning point in the U.S.-China rivalry. For Washington, it's a strategic necessity, deterring aggression, projecting power, and reassuring allies. For Beijing, it's an unacceptable provocation and a threat to its ambitions. The Philippines is caught in the middle, seeking security but facing internal divisions and the risk of becoming a battleground. The base's location puts U.S. forces within striking distance of China's island fortresses, fundamentally altering the regional balance. This is the most significant upgrade to the U.S.-Philippine alliance in a generation. The world watches as the Indo-Pacific enters a new, more confrontational era. Vanguard solidifies alliances and hardens battle lines, shrinking the margin for error. The critical question: will this show of strength deter conflict or spark the very war it seeks to prevent? The answer will shape the future of the region and the world.